This man is fierce and vicious. Even if his opponent is unable to resist, he will kick him hard and cripple his opponent. At this moment, the referee raised his arm high to announce the birth of the championship, and suddenly a bucket of dirty water was poured from the audience. The person coming was none other than Boyka, the former king of fighting, but who would have expectations for a lame man now? It turned out that in a game, Boyka's right leg was interrupted by his opponent, and he became the king of the toilet. But he firmly believed that he was born for fighting, so he never gave up. Apart from cleaning the toilet every day, he practiced secretly, all in order to return to the ring. The opportunity finally came. The gangster remembered his old relationship and allowed him to take the stage to challenge. Boyka limped to the ring, took off his clothes, and quickly launched an attack. He punched, side-kicked, and hit the abdomen. He hooked up and finally volleyed. In just 22 seconds, he directly caught Shoji to regain the championship. It was simply vulnerable. The God of War is back, the audience is shouting the man's name, and this is just the beginning of the story. He defeated the champion of this fight and attracted the attention of the big guys. The boss sent him to Georgia to participate in the International Prison Fighting Competition, where prison fighting champions from all over the world gathered. They all had the same goal, because the winner's prize is freedom. Soon the first match began. Many wealthy businessmen and gamblers poured into the prison that day, and they all placed bets on the boxers they were optimistic about. Today Boyka was fighting against a Frenchman. His opponent launched a fierce attack on Boyka, but he was accurately dodged. Seizing the opportunity, a Frenchman who was thrown to his feet refused to be outdone and launched another round of fierce attacks, but they were all avoided. It was accurately predicted and ended the game with a classic roundhouse kick. At this time, the referee raised Boyka's arm to declare victory, but he threw it away. He seemed to tell everyone that there is nothing to cheer about defeating this kind of garbage. But the next contestants were all ruthless. Thibaut, a black player from the United States, played against the Croatian player Thibaut. He used unique tricks and easily won the game. Next up is Colombia versus North Korea. Facing the smaller North Korean players, they not only pretended to dodge attacks but also interacted with the audience. They either deliberately punched each other a few times or just kicked the opponent after finishing the pretense. At the end of today's game, those who are defeated have lost their chance of freedom. The warden said he wanted to send them back to their respective prisons, but he secretly executed them halfway without anyone else knowing. They were fighters sent by various countries to compete, but they were not treated as fighters should. They were only given 1 hour of training time every day, and were sent to work in the mines the rest of the time. But there was only one exception, a Colombian. Not only did he have enough time to rest, he also had a dedicated sparring partner, and he also received stimulants from the warden. Boyka and Thibaut went to their respective investors to explain the situation, and the two investors angrily approached the organizer for explanation. The old man from the organizer narrowed his eyes and told the two of them about his plan. It was all for making money. If you put money on my players, I will have my own way to make your players lose the game. Obviously this is an unfair event. After that, the organizers increased their workload, and they still ate some unknown objects every day. The long period of hard work made Boyka's knees worse, but his eyes became more determined. Boyka was upset here, but Thibaut next to him was chirping and complaining. So Boyka, a man of few words, had a fight with Thibaut. In the end, they were all locked up in a small dark room. Unexpectedly, the long period of detention made the two people cherish each other, and the two people gradually let go of their conflicts after knowing that they were being targeted. After that, they turned the hard work into training. Every move had to reach the intensity of training. Even throwing stones had to be thrown backward to increase the difficulty. The organizer saw that the two men were not weak in will, but were becoming more and more focused in training. This was not going to work and they would never be given a chance to win. In order for the Colombians to win the next game smoothly, they secretly injured Thibaut on unfounded charges. When Boyka saw Thibaut again, he saw Thibaut lying on the bed covered with injuries. Let alone playing a game, whether I can get out of bed or not is a problem. But even so, Thibaut still did not give up the game. With the spirit of a fighter persisting in training, Boyka knew that they would become victims, so he decided to help Thibaut escape from prison. When he was out working, while the prison guard came to the side to his, Boyka picked up a hammer and tried to break the chain. Yes, they planned to jailbreak. Thibaut was moved and asked him why he helped him and why man had to talk so much. But the hammer was scrapped before the iron chain broke it. At this time, the prison guards also discovered them. Many prison guards rushed over, but the prison guards holding only anti-riot sticks were no match for these two ultimate fighters. Boyka took the key from the prison guard, opened Turbine's anklet, and let him run toward the mountains. At this time, a prison guard holding a Gatling suddenly appeared. Boyka picked up a piece of finger and threw it over. Really accurate. Boyka was taken back afterwards, and because Boyka was needed to continue playing, he was not disposed of. But at this time, his investor suddenly appeared and told Boyka that he had bet on his opponent to win. You will definitely not be able to beat the Colombian with your injured knee. Anger and unwillingness filled Boyka's every nerve. Soon the final showdown began. At the beginning, the two of them were evenly matched, and you punched me hard. Slowly, the Colombians gained the upper hand. The most fatal thing was that Boyka's injured knee was injured again. Then he was kicked off the ring. Boyka fell to the ground and looked at the dirty mop in front of him, which reminded him of the humiliating memory of cleaning the toilet and being laughed at as the king of the toilet. He regained motivation in an instant. He tied the mop to his knees and stood on the ring again, with murderous eyes in his eyes. Blood oozed from Togri, who was blocking his leg, and the whole audience started shouting Boyka's name. He directly knocked his opponent to the ground and punched without any plan. Even if his opponent throws a punch, he doesn't dodge it, but instead throws it back with twice as much power. In the final duel, Boyka broke the opponent's calf with his knee, and the game was finally over. Since Boyka's victory caused the organizer to lose a lot of money, the warden prepared to take Boyka to the wild and kill him to vent his anger. Why was it that suddenly all the guards in the prison were killed? Thibaut scared him when he arrived, and the investors did not betray him. He believed that Boyka would not fail, especially when he was angry. He put all his bets on Boyka and later gave him another sum of money. After saying goodbye, I limped on the road, and he was truly free. Eagle recap here. If you like it, please give it a follow and I'll see you next time.